Hey guys, JV here sharing the official confirmation just announced today from Bethesda that PS4 mod support is coming to the Skyrim remaster and Fallout 4. For those of you that don't believe me, and I know there are some of you out there still, this is not a joke. No joke, I'm not trolling you. I've left a link to the Bethesda.net post in the description below for your reference. In this video, I'll share the exact wording from Bethesda as well as my opinion on the entire situation afterwards. Before I begin, I just want to congratulate you PS4 owners out there. You guys deserve this mod support. It was promised to you and now you're going to get it. I applaud those of you who didn't give up on the possibility. I applaud those of you who stuck in there and didn't resort to personal attacks on Bethesda employees. I have a lot more to say about this and I'll touch on that later, but right now let's take a look at the official Bethesda.net post. We're excited to announce that mod support is coming to PlayStation 4 for both Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout 4. Additionally, we'll also be supporting the new PlayStation 4 Pro with both titles. Skyrim will have these features when it launches on October 28th. The new power of the PlayStation 4 Pro has allowed us to make Skyrim render in native 4K, and it looks better than ever. So the big takeaway here is that obviously Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout 4 will both have mod support, and Skyrim's remaster will have PS4 mods on launch when it comes out in just over 3 weeks. That's not very far away from now. My thought on this is that Bethesda saw that Skyrim remaster was coming out. They already advertised that mods were coming out for PS4 before the launch, and so their priority was to make sure that not a new game, you guys know Skyrim's not a new game, but this is a new product. It's a new product that's coming out from Bethesda. They advertise to have mods in this product. So I think their thought process is, hey, we need to go ahead and make sure mods are going to work on this new thing that we're trying to sell to people. Otherwise, people aren't going to buy it. And so that's why I think that mods are coming out to Skyrim Remaster before Fallout 4. Skyrim Special Edition will also be rendered in native 4K on PS4 Pro. I don't have a PS4 Pro. I'm not really planning on getting one, but that is a cool feature for those that do have one or are planning to get a PS4 Pro. This is also something we're seeing pushed a lot lately since the PS4 Pro was announced. It's something that we saw push with Mass Effect Andromeda, for example. So this is not a big surprise to me, and we know that Bethesda is a company that likes to push out updates for their games, not years after, but, several months after the game comes out. And so it isn't a surprise to me that Bethesda said, hey, this is an opportunity for us to improve our game and render it in native 4K for certain players to enjoy. Moving on further down the post, we have mod support will come to Skyrim first. We and Sony have worked hard to make this possible. Mods on PlayStation 4 will allow you to modify and create your own content by using our creation kit available here. You will not be able to upload external assets with your PlayStation 4 mods, but you will be able to use any assets that come with the game, as most mods do. By creating a Bethesda.net account, you'll be able to browse and try mods right within the game. So kind of just repeating what I just said, mods are coming to Skyrim Remaster first, and we actually get a little bit more information on that in just a second when we go more down the page. But Bethesda says this was a joint effort. When they say we and Sony have worked hard to make this possible, this was a joint effort. And so, of course, a lot of the time when we're talking about this issue over the past few months, we've been saying this is all Bethesda's fault, this is Sony's fault, it's both of their faults. I'll touch more on that in a moment, but regardless, this is a show of solidarity. This is both companies working together to get this done, even if it was delayed. And I think it makes everyone's argument very silly that somehow Bethesda was paid off by Microsoft to delay these mods. These companies work together. They're trying to make money together. I am sure that Sony didn't want to delay these mods. And so here's Bethesda coming out and saying, yes, we worked together very hard to make this happen, and we're happy that it's happened. We also learned that the process of uploading mods on your PC through the creation kit to Bethesda.net and using your profile to download and use mods through an in-game menu on PS4 is the same process that it is on the Xbox One. It's the same thing, and so we're not going to expect anything different. I know Bethesda talked about, one way or another, we're going to get PS4 mods to work, and right here we're getting an indication that it's pretty much the same thing as we have on the other console. There is one major thing in this portion that we should all keep our eyes on, and that's that you cannot upload external assets with PS4 mods. You can only use in-game assets. And so, from my understanding, that means you can't use custom models for armor, weapons, and other things like that. I'll be the first to admit I'm not the biggest PC modding guy. I just got into the scene with Fallout 4, and so I don't know enough to tell you what all of the limitations are going to be, but I have a lot of questions about this specifically, and I really hope that Bethesda goes into more detail before the Skyrim remaster launches. I want to know exactly what kind of mods I'm not going to be able to use, / what other creators are not going to be able to create with the modding tools that Bethesda gives us. I don't know if Bethesda would do it, but I really think it's important to make that distinction, and I hope someone else in our community, or maybe you guys in the comments below, can explain to everyone else what exactly does this mean in terms of limitations. What kind of mods will we be able to have and which won't we be able to have? For example, the awesome PTRS sniper, I believe that's what it is, that's something you're not going to be able to have on PS4 because that is a custom model. It's not from in the game. So our mod creators are going to have to use things that are already in the game to create some unique kind of content, and I'll be interested to see how that works out and what kind of impact that has on PS4 mods. Moving on to the last bit of this post, we are excited finally to get modding to our PlayStation fans who have supported us for so long. Modding has been an important part of our games for over 10 years, and we hope to do even more in the coming year for all of our players, regardless of platform. After the work is complete on Skyrim, we'll be updating Fallout 4 for both mods and PS4 Pro. We expect Fallout 4 to take advantage of the PS4 Pro in 4K along with enhanced lighting and graphics features. Thanks again for all of your support. We can't wait to hear about your new adventures. So from this portion, we see that Bethesda hopes to do more modding in the future with their future games. I think that's really important that Bethesda is pushing the fold on this, and I hope that more developers and of course Sony and Microsoft are more open to having this kind of thing in future games. Of course, we know Sony might be a little more limited with their consoles, but hopefully that will open up in the future. We also learned that Bethesda plans for mods to come in an update for Fallout 4 after work is complete on Skyrim. That is the wording that they use. So to me, this means that it might be a little bit before we see Fallout 4 mods. It might be another extension, another wait. I don't know specifically what Bethesda is referring to when they say their work is complete. I think that might mean that once they have stability and make sure that the modding is working on PS4 for that Skyrim Special Edition, then they will work on the update for Fallout 4, push that out. So right now, Fallout 4 PS4 mods is still indefinite to me, but it is absolutely coming. Fallout 4 will also benefit from this, 4K update for PS4 Pro, have some extra lighting stuff, and yada, 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 the game will look better. So, the confirmation is out there. We know that PS4 mods are officially coming straight from Bethesda and Sony. So I want to talk a little bit more about the entire situation as a whole. People have a right to be frustrated and disappointed. You don't promise something to your consumers who have already paid for your product and then don't deliver it. As we know with No Man's Sky, that was kind of a different situation, but kind of files into the same category for me. You promise something, you need to deliver it. You cannot mince your words. You can't suggest something. If you say something is coming, you need to deliver it. Bethesda was delayed for a very long time on something that they promised. And as a result, a lot of people were angry and frustrated, and they had a right to be. However, no one has a right to personally attack people, real people, people that breathe, people that eat, people that do basic human things just like you and I, Bethesda or not. No one has a right to do that, and I'm pretty disappointed in those that chose to do that in this time that we were waiting. Regardless of my voice on the internet, which I'm so fortunate to have, and regardless of my YouTube channel and this being my job, I consider myself a gamer. I consider myself a part of the community, just like you watching this game, just like your friend across the street, your neighbor, whatever. If you play a lot of video games and you've been doing it since you were a child, then you are part of this community. The last few months with Bethesda and the people taking it to that extra level. Yeah, obviously, like I said, everyone has a right to be frustrated with this, but taking it to that extra level, that part of this entire situation did not make me proud to be a gamer, did not make me proud to be part of this Bethesda community or gaming community in general. When it was announced that Sony rejected PS4 mods about a month ago, that's when things went to that extra level, a whole other level of crazy. This confirmation by Bethesda and Sony right now is proof of a few things. Number one, this is proof of exactly what Bethesda said, and that's that they wanted to deliver on their promise of mods. They wanted to get them out one way or another. And it turns out we're using the exact same system, but there are some limitations, but they're getting them out. That is what they promised, and that's what they're fulfilling. They did not fulfill on their promise of getting it out in a certain time frame. That's why people were angry, but they are coming out. That is something that is happening. Number 2, PS4 mods were never canceled. I am so frustrated with the headlines, the titles in YouTube videos, people going around saying that PS4 mods were canceled. When I talked about the whole Sony rejecting PS4 mod situation almost a month ago now, I maintained the fact that they were delayed indefinitely, and once again Bethesda worded in that same post that they wanted to get these PS4 mods out some way or another. That is called an indefinite delay. That is called an indefinite cancellation. That is not a firm cancellation. They're not coming out. Bethesda never said that. And I know, right about now, some of you may be thinking, how can we trust this big corporate, greedy corporation? How can we trust Bethesda to deliver on their word? They're just out to get your money. They will lie, cheat, and swindle their way into getting you to pay $60 for their product. If it's your natural inclination to distrust companies and they've screwed you over in the past, then that's your prerogative. I'm not going to argue with people that just won't trust any company no matter what. The past is not always a predictor for the future. However, I look over the past year and ask myself, what has Bethesda done? They released Fallout 4, they released 6 pieces of DLC, and while I didn't agree with their method of selling a season pass at the beginning but not outlining all of the content and then raising the price, I think they could have handled that a lot better by just not selling a season pass in the first place. While I didn't agree with how that went down, this right here, this PS4 mods delay and not hearing anything about it for several months and then finally hearing something about it, this is the first delay that Bethesda has delivered on Fallout 4. This is the first time with Fallout 4 that Bethesda has even come close to not delivering on a feature or something that they have promised. And you know what? They are delivering on that. We haven't seen it yet, obviously, so it's not over till the fat lady sings. Unless, you know, something happens to Bethesda or Sony, those companies go bankrupt, this is going to happen. I'm just trying to hammer home the point that Bethesda as a company in 2016 in this industry is not a company that consumers should assume the worst of. They have a track record in the past year of delivering on what they have promised. And the reason I point this out is that in a time of distrust and internet bandwagon hatred, and don't even try to disagree with me on that because it's very cool to not like a game right now. It's very cool to call No Man's Sky shit or complain about No Man's Sky. So in this time, in this weird 2016 time that we're in, I'm asking people that are watching this to not jump to conclusions, to not assume the worst of absolutely everything and everyone. That's what happened in this situation. And as a result, a lot of people look like jackasses. Don't believe what you read on the internet unless it's from a verified source. Don't assume the worst of anyone or anything unless you have the facts, unless you have the evidence. It is so easy to be a pessimist. It is so easy to assume the worst in anything. That's it for my rant. I'm gonna go and play some Witcher 3 on my PC because I've never done that before. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. Of course, I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot of comments on this video, but I'd like to know if you were not planning on getting Skyrim remastered because of this information, and now you are, let me know, because that's an interesting thing. I totally get that people weren't gonna buy the game, but hey, now that you're getting PS4 mods, it's a legitimate reason to go back. And maybe it's not, you know, because of the limitation. So anyways, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you next time.